This is a redo log. It's about 2:01 in the morning, and I should be back in bed sleeping at this point. Sunday the 7th, August 2022. We were John C. Sleep deprived, emotionally deprived, and losing my mind at the same time. Uh, yeah, well. Okay, I was trying to talk about the future and possible predictions of it because I am not quite sure how the hell to handle this one. When I was back at Antelope Valley College, talked to counselors over there. They were telling me that I was close to graduation. I had a feeling I was getting closer to graduation, and I was getting excited about it. But then after that, I was kind of feeling a little sad about it because I made AV College, Antelope Valley College in Lancaster, California, my home. Not like a living space, but a place I could feel comfortable at. It's not like you can make it into a man cave, but a place of higher learning. It just kind of felt comfortable. The man of my age, going through shit, it just needed something normalcy. It needed something common. He needed something regular. He needed something in his life to feel part of something. And I screwed things up a long time ago, and I know I kicked myself over, and maybe I should have just not gone back to college again. But I think it did me a world of good this time around. But I can't tell you about previous, though. Coming out of high school, I was a scared kid, and, you know, following what Mom wanted me to do in the first place. She kept harping on the boys, her boys. My big brother and me, one of us was going to hit into college. She wanted to see us do something with our lives with it. And I know I disappointed the living crap out of her. It was actually 2 years that I screwed up over at Pierce College. I have to make that correction, 2 years. And they gave me an academic separation of 1 year. After that, I could go back and take another class and resume my academia. But by that time, I was already installed at a full time job that would not accommodate the schedule. I had to make a decision go to part time and do this, or full time work and screw college. I figured I had time in my life. So, 30 years busting my ass at different places left and right. A little bit of job training here, a little bit of job training there, gaining a little bit more skills. That meant steady. You know, medical terminology, that's fine. Transcription, okay, that's fine too. Terminology and transcription came in. Transcription didn't come in handy, but billing and coding did, and that helped me out in one particular call center for about 6 years, Blue Cross. After that, I got screwed over. Yeah. Then the 1 year of GR, job search, and here comes Wally World. About 5 years and some odd months, and I get it out of one because I got a tire dropped on my face and screwed things up left and right permanently. And I didn't know how to take it for the rest of my life at that point. Until my brother and I heard from someone who said, "Why don't you go back to school?" My brother and I have 8 years difference, and he'd do it just for fun. He'd qualify just for the fun of it. I had to make the serious commitment to going back over there again to see what I can do. And seeing how my brother experienced college, basically at 2 or 3 classes at a time, I said to myself, I'm taking two at a time, and I'm going to focus on those two each semester until I get out of here. But I really wasn't looking beyond that. I wasn't looking for the MA, the Master of Arts. I wasn't looking for the Doctorate of Arts or Doctor, let alone Bachelor of Arts. I was just trying to get past the beginning stuff AA, Associate of Arts. Get through that, and I felt like I would accomplish something in my life. That was my main goal anyway. I wasn't really exactly thinking about going into full time study during that time. I didn't. And it scares me. Because this is the thing that scares me. My brother, as you all know, he's passed away since 2008. And the reason for these logs are dealing with the grief concerning about Ma and Dave and everybody else prior, including the animals. So dealing with the grieving left and right. And it has been challenging for me to do the grieving, not to mention mourning, as well as studying left and right. It's a challenge, but it's there. COVID kicks our ass. I'm coming back, dealing with one class at a time because I couldn't deal with it. Now I'm trying two classes at a time, see if I can deal with it. I want to deal with this. I want. With the emotional shit kicking my ass this past summertime, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this damn shit. And what I was trying to get back to is what we call the Cameron curse. You haven't heard it. It was in my own family, and they still didn't believe it. But it was hitting the males left and right. I'm not quite sure if I have any other cousins are up to that one yet, especially the male cousins. I know two. And San Diego County, California. One of them's approaching one of them was my brother's age, or a year younger, but he's coming up on it. I'm not quite sure if he believes in it or not, but we'll see what happens. If he gets past the damn thing, then I know it was some kind of psychological shit my brother was trying to put himself through, and me too at the same time. And I have to push myself forward at this point. But if it is legitimate, then I'm really screwed, aren't I? It's at the age of 60 that we noticed that all of our senior males had passed off one way or another, either by voluntary or involuntary, either by accident or by purpose. I'll go into that. That's about it. And because of that, they all died right after the hit age of 60. Not before, but after. So it's like their body and their genetic makeup just decided to quit on them, one way or another, or go schizotic. Cancer would get a couple of them. Heart attack, stroke, suicide. I think my brother was in a heart attack situation there. No, he wasn't. It was respiratory arrest. He couldn't even get the damn thing down his throat, airway. So he had stressed me out so much about this thing. And I started to convince myself that I'm Cameron blood. I'm Cameron blood. I'm born of Cameron blood. I may not be quote unquote a purebred, but still, I had Cameron blood going through my veins. My grandfather was Cameron. My grandmother, she was McGee. And somewhere in there, actually, it was Grandpa Marshall. Yeah. My grandpa's last name was Marshall, but he had Cameron blood in him. One of my relatives, my grandmother or my grandpa, had it and passed it down to the genetics. So I got it. And I haven't heard anything coming from the Cameron side yet for the families. But it's got me worried. I know if I give too much credence to this damn thing, it might turn into something reality, and then I'm really screwed. But what if the damn thing doesn't work? That's something to hope for, isn't it? I've been dealing with the dreaded thing like crazy. It's been stalling me out at this point over here. Just getting it at AA, and that's about it. And that's all I'm good for, and that's about it. But what if? What if? I could actually go further on this one. I mean, I'd like to do a double on the AA. I mean, I was doing okay when it came down for history and political science and English. I've been trying to kick ass on that as well. Three major topics I liked. And if I get two classes done with English, that gets me in the candidate for the AA, and that's about it. Or I can go for the BA program at that point. Four more classes for either political science or history. Same thing. Neighbors. So my dilemma. If I give in to the hysteria of the damn thing, I take the AA and that's about it, and just wait for everything else to go hell in a handbasket on me and just say I did it. The challenging thing. The one that would really would put something on it. Even if I shot for the BA in something, is there a chance I could do a minor on something, like maybe history or political science or both? I'd like to. I mean, political science has got my blood boiling these days, concerning about the last 20 or 30 years of what the hell's been going on these days, or actually since I got into class, and it's really opened up my eyes. I already been political, but I hadn't been politically active. Shit, my mother got me into news and politics and studying about that stuff since I was a young kid. We'd watch news stories, we'd watch political shows and listen to the people talking left and right. We discuss about it. So I guess I've been political all my life. I should have been going for politics at this point. Political viewpoints, key points that people would be considering about. And concerning about politics, you have to know the general knowledge of science, well, beyond the science, I should. Other things, cultural, humanities, language, economics, business, English, history. Everything's like several subjects wrapped up for political science because you're dealing with human nature. You're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with the histories of their own countries and how they're raised, how they're operating, how they are, one way or another, how they relate with each other, or try to relate with each other. It's not exact science. I mean, we all have our own viewpoints and how we look at topics and how we look at the earth. It's like I kept trying to say something about the kaleidoscope effect. We can look at one particular topic at this point over here. Everyone can look with our own eyes at one particular topic. However, we're a kaleidoscope. We have our own color scheme looking at the topic. We can't see the topic for what it is. We have our own different viewpoints. Um, Use the idea of a prism with a flashlight, and you see the different colors that are breaking down the white color of a flashlight, a pure white, and you would see the different color spectrums. But they all matter because they all make up that same white light. Politics is the same damn thing. We just have different ways of trying to get around other things, trying to make our own viewpoint matter and it matters a great deal to us. But history is the studying of the past, is understanding the past, is learning from the past, because in the past we've got mistakes made left and right, and if we had it recorded left and right, we can try not to make those mistakes again and see if they can help us with our current situation. Or maybe we need a new way of looking at the damn thing. I mean, everyone else keeps saying that we need new ways of looking at things, new ways of looking at things. Yeah, maybe. But we still need a basis to look at first before we can judge it to be new or old. We need to have that old foundation that we have. And sometimes we need to get a foundation rebuilt. But we still have to have a foundation regardless, nevertheless. And it has to be reality check. It has to be reality check. It has to be of a reality, not someone else's made up stuff. And this is where the politics also comes in handy. This is how politics and history usually get screwing each other left and right. Because some people in politics want the history to reflect one way, and it's not. It's proven another way. But there's arguments on how to look at history. Reinvention of it. Reinventing the wheel again and again and again. After it's already been invented once. We have to keep reinventing the damn thing because we haven't got it right. How many times can we make a tire? How many tires can we make? Tires wear out. We have to remake the damn thing all over again. We have to recreate. But is that the same way for history? As we look at our past? Or is it different interpretations of how we're looking at the past? We understand it happened because we have records for it. The scary damn thing is, why haven't we didn't have any records to begin with? That's a scary thought right there. Somebody else has to recreate the past and says, this is it right here. Okay, it's like, okay, well, we're going to get topical and we're going to get personal here. We take a relic book that matters to a group of people, strongly matters to them. It challenges them and it encourages them, gives them what they need. But it also has people in it that they revere highly and heavily and will go insane if anybody says or do or defaces anything about them. Now, I know there's examples on this one, but this is as far as I go on that one. So we have this book, and generations have passed to where it's cemented. It's part of a culture. But what if? And I'm not talking about time travel at this point over here. I'm talking about someone that's just going to take the book and rewrite the damn thing. You take a marker, you take a pen, you take something else, and you start doing a redraft on it. You redraft how the world was created. Now, I didn't say anything concerning about this particular book I had in mind. Some people think, uh-oh. Now, if he's thinking about this one, these group of people will hear about their leader and they'll go insane over a damn thing. And the problem is, if we are pure extremists at this point over here, yeah, you're right. Because we do have sacred texts out there, different books for different religious viewpoints. And I'm saying, doesn't matter which one. If someone decides to rewrite history at this point over here, from this point on, making those books obsolete. Of course, there's going to be a war in this one. There's going to be a war of words. There's going to be a war of there's going to be a war in this one. Regardless, there's going to be conflict on this one. But I'm saying we're in that situation right now. And I'm not talking about just for political laughs. I'm talking about because what people don't like. And these are the things that I kept learning more and more in college. How extremism works. And seeing how it had been in activity, in royal activity at this point over here. Maybe you want to be part of the damn process in the first place. But then again, I haven't made that absolute commitment of answering phones or calling people up and trying to convince them or talk to them about it, because I know politics is one of those rails that it's a hard to damn thing to get through to people. Politics are about viewpoints. We all don't share the same viewpoint, but we try to find commonality about it. History, we discover that sometimes is fuzzy. With our own memories, we're having a hard time trying to keep on top of our own personal histories. That's why we have to keep recording them. That's why we have to keep documenting them. We have to have paperwork and documents. Videos are documents. Audios are documents. Pictures are documents. Physical handheld items are documents. Everything registered and constantly recorded. Just so we have proof. We can call it proof of history. But without that proof of history, all it is just words being passed on, and it goes back over to the books I'm talking about at this point over here. Because the books that mean a great deal to a lot of us, that made us who and what we are. Change those books around, and then you see the damn changes happening at this point over here, and then it's not, it's no longer we feel comfort. We feel out of our own area. Again, this is like me trying to come up with a decision of whether or not to go for politics or for history. But for English, the English thing came out when I was getting books left and right, reading them left and right, and having a ball with science fiction and having a ball with a few other topics here and there, going to the library or bookstore I like, and pick up something and read the damn thing. I remember going into elementary school and going to the library. I think back over Coldwater or Canterbury. I think it was Canterbury. And there was a book in there concerning about Sealab. Never heard of it. Or how about Sikorsky helicopters? Huh? Back in the 70s, I was trying to get into that stuff. There was a book in there concerning about Sealab. 3 Sealab missions that happened right after the Mercury mission for one particular astronaut turned aquanaut. And I think he's still around, or he may be dead, I don't know. God rest his soul. Scott Carpenter. He had a thing for ocean. But he was also a military man. He was also an astronaut. Became one of the Mercury 7. But he never did continue on with the space program. He went underwater into his love, into his passion. And it helped a great deal regarding oceanography. Being part of a mission, going down there for about a month and swimming around and dealing with pressurization tin can. It was just unreal reading about that stuff. So, reading about stuff like that, I guess, man, it would help me out with history because, sorry, things crawling around over here. History to me matters It didn't as a kid, but it was should have been more obvious during that time, and so did politics. But English mattered to me too because I loved reading and I loved watching shows left and right of either historical or documentary or even fiction based loosely on reality. So let's just say if I was watching something like BBC programming, I would watch Masterpiece Theater, and they would have shows about Great Britain in their times, their royal, the royal monarchies, or go one clan going after another clan, or something like that. Even Walt Disney had something like that. Magical World of Walt Disney. Walt himself actually had shows he was talking about loosely based off of real characters regarding the American colonies and American uh, creation. Swamp Fox, a guy named Marion, colonel, all the way up to a general, helped with the American Revolution by keeping Cornwallis busy in the South, leaving Washington to deal with other issues up north. And without the Marion's activities, we wouldn't have the colonies we would have. We wouldn't have the country we would have today. And not much has been talked about him. I even did a report in college about him. It blew away the English. It blew away, I think, a history professor and an English professor. Actually, it was a history professor I was blowing away on this one. He didn't realize it. And it helped when I was watching a lot of television as a kid because I was fascinated with it. I was fascinated with the time of the colonials, how they lived, how they worked, how they dealt with stuff. So that was interesting in dealing with it, learning about my own country's past, learning about my own ancestors and how they were and how they lived. But I didn't make the connection. I thought my brother was the only one in the family that was history bound. I guess I was different. I liked science fiction. I liked the future. But the thing is, I had to compare the science fiction of tomorrow compared to today and then try to write something about tomorrow being reflective of today. Be an analogy. Be an anagram, I guess. Be something like the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits. Something that would anthologies, actually. I was trying to look for the word there. And making that come alive. Because history is coming alive. Science fiction does come alive in different ways. But we also deal with politics as well, dealing with countries, we deal with groups. Different groups who have conflicting ideas with each other. These are the things I was discovering more and more in college. If I had learned this, if I had studied this, if I actually had the interest as a youth, my life would have been different. I can't say better, I say different. It would meant that if I gave it my all during that time, if I gave it my all during that time, I might have gotten out of there with an AA degree. And then my mother would probably set me up for BA or just be satisfied that I went through college and graduated. I think at this point, my family still would be proud of me for making it this far. And it's still up to me to make that choice or decision of go for the BA or just take the AA for English and that's about it. Or if I stay in there long enough, take the AA for political science or history. Writing, I like. I My hands were actually able to really work on these damn keyboards without me fidgeting or fudgeting on these damn things. I was able to write a pretty decent story or two. They're just physical extensions. The story is still in here and in here. Still has to find a way to communicate it out. Stories are our lives. Stories tell things about ourselves. Show us examples about how we live, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, who we are, what we are. That's why it's a conflict right now regarding it, because I'd like to have three majors if I could, or maybe one major and then two minors. I could try to marry all three of them if I could. And just, you know, would I be content over that, or just continue with the education? Because I feel like I still need to do something with them. I don't know what, but I still need to. I need to. I don't know if I've got enough time to think about this damn thing or not. But it scares the hell out of me if I'm still going to be talking about the damn 60-year limit on myself. If I'm stuck with that, then I got to be content and just pull out with the AA. But I don't know, and that's the challenge right now because I want to do this. I got to be out of my fucking mind. Pardon my language, but I got to be out of my fucking mind. I want to do this. I want to see whether or not I can actually do this or not. It's scary. It's scary. I'm going to get into something that I don't even know if I can actually do this or not. If I can, fine. If I can't, then I can't. But I'm not going to accept it though. I got to accept that I'm going to be doing something better than my life. I've got to be better than my life. Even if I don't succeed on this, even if I don't make it on this damn thing, at least I'd have the guts to try it. Make the decision to make the call on the damn thing. Otherwise, I'd be stuck and still waiting for death to knock on my door. He may do that while I'm studying. But at least I'll be able to ask him something. Did I make the right call? Did I make the right call? If I'm feeling okay with it, then it should be the right call for me. If I feel hesitant about the damn thing, it means I still got some doubts about the damn thing. I still need to get sorted out. I'd love to try all three topics being majors, or at least two minors and one major. That would have been something. History and political science for major, actually for minors and English is a major. Drawing upon experiences about governing and history into English literature. I much prefer history drawing upon English literature to back it up, and political science, which actually drives it. Or you can just stick with political science, and then political science is made up with history and literature of everything else, which is the interpretation of history in one way or another, and the interpretation of what's happening with politics these days. I've got these things swimming around in my head. It's not even funny. But it is exciting to think about. I just hope I do it. But even if I don't graduate, at least I know I've made it this far. And I still want to go further. Not that I'm looking for a doctorate at this point over here, because I'm really going to be in debt at this point. Or if I have time for that one, I'm going to be debt and dead. I'll get what I get. I'll work with what I got. And it's got to be okay. For this kid, it's got to be okay for me to hit the sack. Ciao.